Hi, I'm Eleanor, and welcome to the Intuition Lab. This week, I'm going to be talking about change. Is it really hard? Can we make it easier on ourselves? I'm going to be talking about the ways in which we can use our intuition just to make change easier and run more smoothly. Before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe this recording, whether you're watching it or listening to it, just so this information can reach the people it really needs to get to. So, back to our program. Of the opinion that change doesn't have to be a challenge if you're in alignment with what you're trying to achieve. And I think one of the ways in which we make change hard for ourselves is just not changing for the right reasons, not tapping into your intuition and asking yourself, is it time to change something? What do I need to change? And what's my next best step? I'm going to talk about maybe three or four other ways in which we make change hard for ourselves, but this I really think is the key way we do it. The second way we do this is by making changes based on others' needs, wants, and expectations that don't align with your purpose. Like doing things because your friends are doing it or a previous version of yourself would want it, but it doesn't really align with who you are now and where you're going. And of course, I know someone's going to think, well, I have children. I can't just not get up with them in the middle of the night. I mean, no, that does align with your purpose because part of your purpose is being a parent, right? And that requires sacrifice of sleep and other things. But making changes based on other people's expectations of you usually isn't going to lead to lasting and or truly healthy change in your life. Another way we make life harder for ourselves is by changing the wrong things, not investigating the root of your desire for change. And this often comes at times of instability or when we're at a crossroads. And so you know that, well, I have to change, but I don't know what. And sometimes people just blow up the good parts of their life and not necessarily clearing away the parts of their life that weren't working. So if you change the wrong things, you may well end up worse off than you were. Another way we make change non intuitive and hard for ourselves is realizing that there is a season for change and a season to just let things be, maintain the status quo, make your plans for a later date, and also acting on them at the wrong time. I find personally that when I need to make a change, it'll start as a small voice inside of me and it gets louder and louder until the need to change manifests externally, like getting bad test results when you go to the doctor, or, you know, opening a closet door and having everything fall out, right? There is a season for change and there is a time to act. And if you act precipitously, things may not work out. If you take too long, I mean, I feel that some change is just there'll always be a need for it. So there isn't really a wrong time. But sometimes, we've missed the boat to do one thing. And it doesn't mean you can't do it again, but timing is everything. And listening to your intuition to know when this is the time is key. My takeaway from all of this is that when you feel that the changes you want to make are resonant with who you are now, goals, even if they're technically difficult, are easier to achieve. And while it may take work and a bit of pain, it feels purposeful and you're better able to just get on with it, not second guess, you know, not think, oh goodness, why am I getting up at 5:45 to go for a walk? You just feel like, okay, well, this is tough, but I'm doing it. I'm just doing it, right? I don't think it's anything to do with motivation in the sense like grit your teeth and do it. I think it is, well, this is either who I want to be or it's in the service of who I want to become. So I'm just going to do it. And how does intuition come into play with all of this? Really, the purpose of intuition here is just a key to your motivation and knowing what to do. So I invite you once again to tap into your intuition the way that works best for you. Sometimes it's free writing, like, what do I need to change now? Sitting there with pencil and paper and just addressing that question for 3 to 5 minutes, or meditating on it, or setting it as a general intention to be given the information that of what you need to change, and then waiting for it to come to you in the ways that you best connect to your higher self. But here's some primary ways in which intuition comes into play when making changes. One, knowing exactly what needs to change, right? If you change the one thing that's working for you because you're not happy overall, you congrats, you've just blown up your life, right? But in this case, knowing what needs to change, and your intuition can help point you towards that. Sometimes you just know, I really need to do this differently. And like I said, there are different ways of connecting, and you can look through some of my previous episodes. I talk about how to connect to your intuition and, knowing if your goals are in alignment with your intuition, but knowing what needs to change, also knowing why you are making the change. Though sometimes this is less important than the what, and it can lead you to overthinking. But if it would help you to know, well, why am I being drawn to this? Don't get wrapped up in it, but it can help to intuitively feel your way into why you are making this change. Intuition can also help you determine timing. Sometimes you have this strong urge, sometimes out of seemingly nowhere, to do this one thing, to clean a closet, to go to a place, to do something. It can really help you not miss opportunities, optimize when you do something. Like if you wanted to say, if you needed to upgrade your kitchen and you find a great deal on cabinets, I'm just bringing this up because it's something we need to do, but your intuition can help you determine what the best time for the change is. It can also help you know when you're on the right track. I talk about the energetic five state and knowing when you're sort of in the zone. And I think all good change comes from that space, just feeling like I'm on the right track. I might be doing something difficult, but there is an inner calm to me. And also, it can help you to stay the course, regardless of what your current circumstances are and what your immediate environment looks like. It may not look like much is changing, but if you feel that you are on the right track, your intuition is telling you this, then keep going. Your intuition can also help you know when it's time to change your approach. If you are working towards a goal and you feel you're making progress, but you could be doing things better, this is another reason to stay tuned into your intuition, because it helps you to know there's a better way to do this instead of continuing to slog. Or it can even help you abandon your first goal. Your intuition might tell you, okay, you've taken this project as far as it is meant to go. On some level, you've achieved the needed internal or external or energetic change associated with doing this thing. And it's time to abandon it and move on to something new. And a final way your intuition can come into play is to help you acknowledge where challenges are likely to crop up. So if you have a goal, like, oh, I want to run a 5K, and you ask yourself, well, what are my likely challenges here? What might be an impediment to this? And this is a good thing to go into a calm space, get into your energetic five state, and just tune into your intuition. But it might mention, oh, well, you have a tricky ankle. You might want to get a brace for it. Or you might have time juggling childcare with your training schedule. So, can you get someone to help you with it? If you have a young enough child, can you go on like a Facebook Buy Nothing group and get a jogging stroller to help you run with your child, right? Just where are the challenges, and also can help you brainstorm the solutions to this. So it's one thing to be aligned with what you want to do and tap into your intuition, but we also have to contend with our subconscious and the voices playing in our heads, and to another extent, the people around you. And I'm going to go into a few ways of how you can sort of reprogram your subconscious so that you're better able to deal with the externals in your life that might be pulling you off course. So, the first is you are known by the company you keep. For good or for ill, people, and I will include virtual friendships, can make you or break you. So if you have a goal around spending less, right? Being more mindful of what you buy, right? And you maybe want to be less consumerism focused, and you're surrounded by people who are recreational shoppers, that's probably going to be a problem. If you are around people who are negative, who consistently shoot down people who are trying to change, you know, that's not going to help you either. And you can't just cut everyone out of your life, but you can limit your interaction with them, and you can definitely move in silence. And I'll talk more about that later. Another way to reprogram yourself is to find examples of people who are doing the thing you want to do, and you can ask yourself to be intuitively led to that. So, I am serious about fitness, and I find usually female influencers who are in their 40s, 50s, and above, who are in good shape, who quite often went from being in not great shape to being in good shape, because they are doing the thing I want to do. We may not attack the issue in the same way, but they have achieved an outcome I want. And I think it's important to have a role model if you can. You may not even have it in the flesh, they may be online, like the people I follow, but find examples of people who are doing the thing you want to do. So if people around you say it can't be done, you know that there are, in fact, people out there doing that thing. Also, meditation and hypnosis. Meditation can help you clear your mind, and not just clear your mind, but be in your own energy, embracing your energetic five state, right? And staying there for longer and getting back into that state when you get pulled out of it, because you inevitably will, because we live on planet Earth. Also, hypnosis can help you to quell just the dissenting voices in your head and help make the thing you want to do your default, right? Most of us act by default, and hypnosis can help you to reset that default. And there are lots of great resources on YouTube that you can use to basically retrain your subconscious. You can also change your schedule, right? If you always go for a walk in the evenings, can you go for a walk in the morning or vice versa, right? If you find yourself being rushed at the end of the day with chores, can you shift that to weekends or mornings if your mornings are better for you? But sometimes changing what you physically do, or waking up earlier, going to bed earlier, or later sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do, right? Um, you can change your schedule because it physically gets you out of a rut or a pattern, and that often helps to clear our minds. Now, I'm going to circle back to moving in silence. It can be great to speak out loud what you want to do and hopefully have accountability partners, but we also can attract people who quite frankly want you to fail, wish you ill, or even if they're well-meaning, just say, oh, well, don't be surprised if it doesn't work. I think it is better to just do the thing you want to do in most cases than tell many people about it. And after you have made this change and it's evident on some level, and people ask you, oh, what's different, how did you do this, then you're free to share, and also use your discernment and intuition to know, like, are these people asking you to share because they're feeding off your energy? Do they genuinely want to make this change and they need a little boost? Do they need you to be the example to them of what they're trying to do? Or are they just like energy vampires who are bitter, jealous, unhappy, and want to hear you talk about your process so they can begin to lay the seeds of doubt about your continued success? So I advise people like 95% of the time to move in silence. Also, be strict with what you consume, what you put in your body, what you look at online, in person, what you listen to, the memes you share, right? What you let into your mind and spirit. Not all spiritual practices will be for you. Not all self help guides are for you. Sometimes, even if the words make sense, you can feel the energy of the author behind them and it may not align with you. So be very strict with what you consume. You know how things affect your energy, your physical or your spiritual or emotional energy. You want to stay in balance. Do what it takes to keep yourself as close to your energetic five state. And you can look that up. I have a whole previous episode about it. So go through my archives and give it a watch or listen. But do what keeps you in that state, right? Because that's where the magic, if you will, happens, right? That is the best possible place for change to originate. And also, this is so underrated, but use the first and last 5 to 15 minutes of your day to renew your focus. So, what you consume before sleep, I would call it like what we bring into our sleep, is powerful and it can change us for better or for worse. Like, I used to review notes before a test before I went to bed as a student, and I found that I retained the information better. But you want to use the first 15 minutes to just enjoy that pleasant state between sleep and wake and to just focus on what you want to achieve. And the last 15 minutes, if you haven't already, you want to work on releasing any heavy or unpleasant energy and just setting the intention to have a restful sleep and to also let your subconscious hammer out the details of things that you're wrangling with in your day-to-day life. So don't underestimate the absolute power of what you do with the last 5 to 15 minutes at the start of your day and at the end of your day. But in all of this, the most important thing is to know what is true for you. And that is also where your intuition comes into play. Something can sound outlandish to other people, but I feel, and I've experienced, and I've seen others experience it too, when you come across something that can be a thought, a book, a concept that feels like a bone deep fundamental truth for you, it just resonates. I would say, case in point for me, is seeing my grandmother taking medication when I was a young girl and just knowing that's not for me. That is not my life path. Not that I avoid meditation, but excuse me, medication. I do not avoid meditation. That is my medicine. But just knowing on a bone deep level that health is my natural state of being. And I've known this since I was about 4 years old. It just resonated with me no matter what, even if I was sick or depressed. I knew that I would find my way back to health. So, what is true for you that just resonates with you on a bone deep level and may not make sense to anyone else around you? I think when we know that, this is a time when we truly tap into our intuition because it just shows you like this is your truth, this is your path. When you make choices and undertake efforts that are aligned with your path on this earth, doors open for you. And like I said, even if it requires work and some struggle, it feels purposeful. It's easier to commit to it and do it and see it through to its end. So, with that, tell me where you're making changes in your life and any challenges you face in making them. And if you feel you'd like a little guidance, I invite you to join Pathfinders, my free community. There will be details in the show notes where we talk about things like this. I introduce tools to help you tap into your intuition and apply it practically. And just, it's a great community. There are good people there who are really tapping into and becoming or are truly aligned with their purpose. And it's a beautiful thing to see this unfold. So I invite you. But until next week, I am sending you so much love, joy. I hope you have the courage to seek the truth and get into alignment with it. Until then, love and peace. Bye.